Let's bring in New York Democratic Congressman Dan Goldman. Congressman, good to see you. Any regrets about Democrats not saving McCarthy?
No, I think it's the wrong question to be asking. In the House, the majority
How do you answer that question?
Well, the answer is no. We have no regrets. Kevin McCarthy is a failed speaker. He did absolutely nothing to reach across the aisle in any way, shape, or form, even though, as you pointed out in the last segment, there is divided government. Even when he reached a deal on top-line appropriations numbers, he then went back against that deal in passing all of these individual appropriations bills. He has done absolutely nothing for the American people. He is trying to eliminate access to abortion. He is discriminating against the LGBTQ community. He is cutting funding that Americans need across the board. And we are unified because we want to help the American people, but we are in the minority. We don't have control, and they did absolutely nothing to reach across the aisle. They are captive to Donald Trump and the extreme MAGA wing, who has now revolted because even just passing a continuing resolution is too much for them. Keeping the government open is insufficient for this extremist wing. So we are unified. We are ready to govern. We are ready to work for the American people. And the Republicans need to work out their own civil war and actually put the American people first.
So do Democrats have a plan for what or who comes next?
It's not our job at this point.
But you have to work with your Republican colleagues eventually.
No, they have to work with us. And that's the critical difference here. They're in the majority. They control everything. It's not the Senate, where the minority has a lot more power. They put whatever bills they want on the floor. If they are unified, they can pass whatever they want. It is their job to come and work with us in a bipartisan way to find solutions for the American people. It is their job to pick a Speaker of the House. If they cannot do that, they are unable to govern, and they should not be in the majority. We are ready to put Hakeem Jeffries as the Speaker of the House. We are unified behind him. He is focused on helping the American people, not on this politics, not on these culture wars, not on cutting essential funding for hundreds of millions of Americans. That's what we stand for, and we stand united for that.
Congressman, last night McCarthy blamed Speaker Emerita Pelosi and Democrats for his removal, and I want to get your reaction to this. Take a listen.
I think today was a political decision by the Democrats. And I think the things they have done in the past hurt the institution. When they just started removing people from committee, and they just started doing the other things. And my fear is the institution fell today.
What do you say to that?
I think it's absolutely preposterous. The people who are hurting the institution are the Republicans who allowed one person to vacate the Speaker and the 8 people in that party who voted to do that. If they think that the institution is hurt by vacating the Speaker, they ought to look inside their own house. Those Republicans were removed from committees because they either threatened other members or exhibited incredibly racist and discriminatory behavior. They then turned around and retaliated against Democratic members of our committees and removed 3 of them who had done nothing wrong. And so this is constantly the Democrats trying to be held to a higher standard than the Republicans, as if we should just do the right thing, even though they don't make a single overture to us. If they wanted our help because they believe that the institution should be saved, Kevin McCarthy should have reached out to us and tried to work bipartisanly. He never did that. Not even yesterday, as he got booted from the Speaker as the first person ever in humiliating fashion. He never once reached out to us. If you want our support, you got to engage with us. We're ready to work.
Somebody who has engaged with Democrats, Liz Cheney, is no longer in the House. So I want to ask you about this reporting from ABC News that you spoke with Liz Cheney, who reportedly agreed with you that McCarthy threatened democracy. What can you tell us about that? And do any of your other Republican colleagues in the House currently share that opinion?
Well, Liz Cheney, who I've built a nice relationship with because we both care very much about our democracy, reached out to me and just relayed a very simple message, which is that this is not just about what concessions the Democrats might be able to get. Kevin McCarthy has been complicit in Donald Trump's attack and subversion on our democracy. He has kissed the ring of Donald Trump. He pulled out the rug from a 9/11 commission because Donald Trump said that. He started an impeachment inquiry because Donald Trump wanted him to. He is wholly owned by Donald Trump, and that is a threat to democracy. And Liz Cheney wanted to make sure that I and all of my colleagues in the Democratic Party considered that in addition to what has happened during the 9 months. And we absolutely agree with her, and that was certainly part of the calculation.
Congressman, we've also been reporting that Pelosi and Hoyer have been kicked out of their Capitol office workspaces in the last 24 hours. Your reaction to that?
It's petty, childish behavior, and it is, again, failing to take responsibility for their own inability to govern. If you want to lash out at Speaker Pelosi or Steny Hoyer and take away their offices, which is a custom that Speaker Pelosi gave to the House leadership when she took over, you're just being petty and petulant, and it just shows their inability to take responsibility and accountability for their failure to govern in the House of Representatives.